What's up YouTube, it's Alex Combow here, owner, CEO, and graphic designer of Snowbound Apothecary. Today I want to talk to you guys about ownership and its application to business. And a lot of what I'm going to be mentioning today is going to be out of the book Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. So I hope you guys are excited about this topic. I know I am. This is something I've been wanting to talk to you guys about for a long time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and get this video started with a brief description of what true ownership is so that we're all on the same page here and we're ready to go. So what true ownership is it means that whenever a failure happens around you, you need to be able to realize where your part in the failure is. Because everything that happens that is a failure that you were involved in has a certain aspect of failure that you personally are responsible for. As a leader, anytime your team fails, it is your responsibility as a leader. And this is hard to take in because it's easy to play the blame game and to say, oh, it's John's fault. John was the one that was responsible for sales, and John was the one that was the sales leader, and he's the reason why none of our other sales guys made their sales. But in reality, you are the leader of John, so your mindset, your attitude is being reflected over to John. Every mindset, every attitude that you have is a direct reflection to the people that are below you. If you are positive, the people below you are going to be positive. If you are negative, the people below you are going to be negative. And attitude is the first thing that's going to be adopted by the people before characteristics, before anything else. Attitude is going to be the first thing that they realize because they, without even knowing it, are mirroring your attitudes on a daily basis. Okay? I've worked projects personally where the attitude of my leader isn't exactly the strongest. They have a more negative attitude. Personally, I'm a positive guy and I try to keep positive in any atmosphere, but when my leader is constantly having a negative attitude, it's hard for me to have a positive attitude. And I've known other guys that are like this too. It really is about the leader. There are no bad teams, there are just bad leaders. It's easy to blame your teams for failures that are happening, when in reality it's actually the leader that is failing the team because the leader is not leading the team in the way that they should go. And I'm sure on your team, like on any team, you have that guy that makes constant excuses. Oh, I'm late to work today because traffic was bad. Oh, I'm late to work today because it was raining. Oh, I'm late to work today because my girlfriend kept me all night watching Netflix. Well, I got news for you, buddy. You're late to work today because you did not go to bed on time and you did not wake up early. So that is not taking ownership. And remember, anybody can be this guy without even realizing it. You can be making constant excuses without even knowing that you're doing it. You could be saying, oh, you know what? We failed this project because the timeline just wasn't reasonable. The deadline, it was too soon. We couldn't get it done. But in reality, you could have worked extra hours to get that deadline met. But you didn't work extra hours. So in reality, the responsibility is on you. And everybody has responsibility in failed projects. And they have responsibility in succeeded projects too. So don't just think of this as the failures, but realize that when your team succeeds, you are as much of a part of the team's success as your team is a part of the success. Don't let this build your ego, because if you start to get a good ego, then your teammates around you will start to get a big ego as well. So you need to check your ego constantly through the process, or you're going to have people that they just think that they're unbeatable. And if you have this personality that you're unbeatable, someone's going to come around and you're going to have a David take you down because you think you're a Goliath, and a David's going to come and take you down with just a slingshot, and you're just going to be completely at a loss, and you're going to be stunted more than anybody else is stunted because you thought you were unstoppable. This mentality can easily be transferred to people around you. You need to have the mentality that anybody can come and beat you, and that's why every day we're learning, we're improving, and we're getting ready for this person that can come across and seem like they're a nothing, and they'll just come and take a step above. Because if they take that step above and you're not ready for it, then you lose. Your team loses, sure, but you lose because your mentality was being portrayed over to the team. So take your personality and constantly dissect what you're thinking. Because if you're thinking something negative, you may not even realize that you're portraying over negative thoughts over to the people that are under you. Because you think that you're keeping your words in check, but you're not keeping your mind in check. So you're not keeping your words in check. You can subconsciously easily be saying negative things that are bringing your teammates down, or just your energy isn't right. So they're looking at your energy and realizing that you don't have the best energy, so there's no way that this project can be done, because if the leader doesn't have the right attitude, then the people aren't going to have the right attitude. Okay, next point here, you want to be able to work together with your people as closely as possible, but not micromanage them. You need to let them do their thing, because you want to build a group of people, a group of driven people, not a group of programmed robots. This is probably the most important takeaway of this video. You want to be able to create a team that can hold your vision and take steps towards your vision without you even having to be there to give them the roadmap that they need to have to be able to take these steps. And the best way to do this is to keep everything as simple as possible. Keep your vision as simple as possible. Keep your policies and procedures as simple as possible. If you're telling your coworkers, well, you can wear baseball caps to work, but you can't wear snapbacks. Okay, actually, you know what? You can wear snapbacks and baseball hats to work, but you can't wear snapbacks with the letter B on it, or with any sort of women on it, or you can't really wear any other type of hats other than these if they have any sort of design on it. You know what? No, just keep it simple. Say, no, you can't wear any hats to work. Sorry, man, but you gotta do your hair every morning before you come to work. This is exactly an example of something that you can keep simple, that you're overcomplicating. Sometimes policies and procedures, you think you're keeping it as simple as possible, or you think that you're doing it to the best ability for your company, but in reality it's just too complicated, and people don't really know what they're doing because it's so complicated. And this is where they start to fall, or they start to maybe make steps and get write-ups because they're not paying attention. If you just implemented a new policy and you're having a ton more people get write-ups than ever before, look at the policy and see if it's possible that you're a little too complicated on the policy. Not strict, you can be strict on your policy, but you want to be simple on it, okay? But really this video is more about building the team, so I'm going to kind of pull it back now. Simple applies to everything. So that includes plans. You want to be able to plan for anything that's going to happen, but you want to be able to keep it simple. And this might seem like an oxymoron, but it's really not. But if your sales rep is out there making calls and someone makes an objection that isn't on the script, then they're not going to be ready for it, and they're not going to be able to give the proper answer to the objection. So while yes, you want your script to be a little bit more in-depth, you want it to be also kind of vague. So you have the description of how you want your sales rep to handle the objection, but you want them to be able to do it with their personality. You can't be so tight on them, so tight with micromanaging that they don't feel authentic, because if they feel fake to the customer, then the customer isn't going to want to buy from them. They want to buy from someone who's authentic because they know that they can trust them. And this applies to anything. If you have a task that you want your coworkers to be able to get done, then you want to be able to keep it as loose as possible, but as descriptive as possible, so that they can know what needs to be done, and you can give it to them and say, this is what needs to be done, do it your way. That's what you want to happen, because everybody has certain key strengths of their personality and key weaknesses of their personality, and sometimes you'll give Joe a mission because you know Joe is good at being persuasive, but you wouldn't give it to George because you know George, that's his weakness. He's really not good with being persuasive, and he's not a good people person. So because of that, you give it to Joe. And if you would have given it to George, George could have handled it, but you would have needed a lot more restrictions, and he wouldn't really be able to be fully himself on the process. So that's why you give it to Joe, because that's his strength. Okay? So look at your plan. Make sure that you have the objections, have all of the issues that could happen, that could arise, but you have a simple description of what you need to do in that situation. And this could be on a large scale or it could be on a small scale. you could either lose maybe just one sale off of it, and that person could go tell all his friends, hey, this company sells through pressure, but your vision is to be not a pressure selling company. So having this word being pressed around, it doesn't do the best justice for your company. That's a little bit more of a small scale, but a larger scale could be the same thing. You know, you have the script, but you haven't fully planned for everything that's happening. So your assistant manager is going into a big meeting that you want to partner up with, and because you don't include a certain objection, they make that objection, and your assistant manager isn't ready for it, and you lose the sale because of that. And now all of a sudden you've lost $1 million or $2 million off of that sale. That's a little bit of a larger scale example of this, but remember, if you are trying to have an objection, like maybe the company says, we don't want to spend the money here, you write in the script, this is the objection, and what you need to say in the case of this objection is, this is why you do want to spend your money here, or something to that example, rather than saying, hey, include all of this math here, because this math will tell them that it's not as much money as they think, and people are going to look at it, scratch their heads and go, I don't think you want to say that. I really think that because you look at all this math here. Did I carry the 2 right there? I'm not very good at math. And now you lose that sale because you kept it too complicated. And you wrote it in the way that you would do it rather than the way that they should do it. Okay, I hope that this video caught you guys well today. If you guys would leave a positive comment below or a negative comment below, if you got negative remarks, hear them, put them down. I want to hear them. I want to hear what all you guys got to say. Leave me a like, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on Thursday.